Hello friends, good evening to all of you, and you all are waiting for the class, correct?
At Data Camp, we provide high.
And in this now, if you're getting like say here, all of you first get connected fastly. All of you get connected fastly. And hope so all of you would have got the link properly, correct? So those whoever have not got the link, kindly access that link in the group of the JTC which already I have given, and make sure that everything is clear, sound is clear, audio is clear, visual is clear, everything you are getting clear. And if things are not clear, then check your internet connections, then it will be very, very clear to you all, correct? So guys, many of you today are joining in this class, new students, and those who were not attending previously this JDBC class, correct? So the previous class of JDBC, what we have already done, that very soon today itself you will be getting the link of all the previous classes also. And today onwards we are going to start a topic which is called as the callable statement. What is that topic I'm going to start is the callable statement. If any one of you are getting any question, any doubt in this, you can write in the comment box, you can write in the chat box, right? Before starting, anyone is getting any kind of questions, please you can write it in the chat box, correct? So the topic what I am going to start today here is, already we have completed first the prepared statement, that is prepared statement, already we have done. This topic already we have discussed, fine. Each and every topic related to this class I have discussed. The second one is here is the callable statement. Callable statement that we are continuing now, fine. So this already we have seen till the last classes, and we are going to continue at present with the callable statement, fine. So see here, I'll just now remove it. Every class, or in most of the JDBC classes, I have shown you a basic diagram. The diagram was what? See here, this is the relationship diagram between the different types of statement, you will say. What is the relationship diagram here? Is the first, we are writing here statement. Next one in this, it is the prepared statement, and again inside this we have a new one called as callable statement, correct? So in these basic relations, as I am showing you here, three things: statement, prepared statement, and the callable statement. Out of these three things, already we have talked about which one now? Statement as well as the prepared statement. Rest of the things today I am going to discuss, which we have, which is called as the callable statement into this case, right? We are starting with this, fine. Now when I am saying here the callable statement, see, here is the callable statement that I wanted to, or we are discussing here. I'll write here callable statement. In previous cases, the after establishing the connection, what is the very first thing what we have done is, in this, the very first thing what we have done is we have established the connection, and after establishing the connection, the second important thing what we have done is we have created, or we have somehow tried to create object of type different statements. The different types of statements what we were trying to create it inside this, that is what we have done in these cases, correct it is. Now here when I am saying, or when I am trying to create, what I am trying to create? Callable statement. I need the first callable statement. So the thing is, previously we were having the statement, some of the, you can say the drawbacks or say the demerits of the statement was there, which was being solved by the prepared statement, and later on. So what is the basic, these two things, statement and the callable statement, which they have not solved, which they haven't solved, and that particular thing we are trying to solve with the help of callable statement. What is that particular exact things we are trying to do here? So see, first thing, when we have the idea about the database, what kind of, this is your, if we have a database. So in the database, in this particular database, what we have, in this database we can write the procedures, and second one, stored procedures also we can write. We can write procedures as well as the stored procedures also we can write it inside this. So what is this stored procedure? So see, in cases like a concept called as stored procedure is there, and this is basically a database concept, guys. If you are already aware with the procedures and all other things, it's well and good. If you are not aware with this, so in your notes already, or in the JDBC notes already, I have given the basic steps to write the procedures. So kindly go through that. Please go through that steps. What all the different steps are there to write the procedures into that, and here I'll be showing you few of them, correct? So any procedure, when I will say any kind of procedure, will be called only when, or will be processed only when you are going to call that. If you are not calling that, if you are not calling the stored procedures, then that stored procedures is not going to be processed, and the number of times you are going to call that stored procedures, that many number of times it is going to be processed. So number of times you are going to call, that many number of times it is going to process it, correct here? So hope you understand my point, hope you understand the things what I am trying to explain you here, correct it is? Any one of you are getting any questions in this, you can please ask. Okay, so that is fine, that we are creating procedures and stored procedures. In the case of database, we are creating some things here. What is that? Procedures and stored procedures and many other things. So we need to call it, and these stored procedures are responsible to perform something. I'm not going more into the stored procedures because that is again another topic, that is again a different type of topic. So if we wanted to call that stored procedures, that here we need to take the help of callable statement. What we need to take the help of? Callable statement. So with the help of callable statement, we can only able to call, or we can only call the data, or we can only process the data, or we can only call these stored procedures from this corresponding databases, correct it is? Fine, next now. Here understand one more thing. So see, first is con dot create. So say here con dot, you are writing here, what you are going to write? Prepare call you are writing. You are writing what now? Prepare call. What it is going to give? Prepare call is going to give, that is the callable statement it is going to give. What it is going to give? It is going to give the callable statement, con dot prepare call. So it is going to give what it is going to give? It is going to give the callable statement type, correct? Now, here in the prepare call, what method we have written here, in this also string is one parameter. In this case also we have, that is the string is the parameter in these cases, correct? Now next one, again we are writing here con dot prepare call. Here I'll write string of one more int, and int, this is again one more parameter what we have. And again in the next scenario what we are having, con dot prepare call, and in this one int we are having these all different parameters inside these cases, correct? Here we have the different kinds of parameters in all of these cases here. Prepare call, have a look. So you need to understand one thing, that you are going to call this method called as prepare call with the help of connection reference con dot prepare call, and then you are getting the callable statement type object. And the same thing previously we have done with the statement and prepared statement also, correct? So here after getting this connection you are creating the callable statement type object, and after doing this now, the next step what you are going to follow here. What is the next step which you are going to follow in this? In this, the next step what you are going to follow with this, or with this you can say this is your something set of your Java program. You are writing all these things into a, let's say you are writing it into the Java program or JDBC somewhere you are writing. Maybe you are writing anything anywhere. So in these cases, what is the important thing which you need to understand here? So if suppose I am having some stored procedure in the case of your Oracle and all, we are having some stored procedure there. So in order to call these stored procedures, what exactly I need to do here? Say that here. Now, I need to issue that queries, I need to issue that commands which is going to call that stored procedure from the database. And that query, that command which is there can be issued. So I am writing callable statement dot. I am writing here callable statement dot here. What is that I am writing? Callable statement dot. Which one now? Again the same three methods what we were using previously to submit the query to the database. So what was that method at present? Execute, update. So here now remember, other than the statement, we need not to write any kind of parameter in these methods here. One is this, again callable statement dot, execute, and again callable statement dot. Here I am writing, what is that I am writing now? Execute query I am writing. Here this is the following three methods I am writing, and by using these three methods we can submit the query to the database, or we can call your stored procedure from there. Fine. Here when I am saying we can call this stored procedures, so we are writing here, what you are writing, callable statement dot, what is that you are writing, callable statement dot execute update. So it was returning in previous cases also int, execute was returning here boolean, and execute query is returning result set. Correct it is. And now by using all these three different methods, we can, what we can do, we can call the query from the database in these cases, guys. Are you getting my points, what I'm trying to explain here? Is it clear for everyone? If it is clear for all, just say yes once if it is clear to you all. Correct? I hope you understand the process, that how now we are creating the callable statement type object, how we are doing the other things into this. So how callable statement things are being processed, what all the other things are being done internally, how it is working, how it is coming into that. I hope it is clear now to you, to everyone in this case here, right? We are writing, what is that we are writing? cs.execute update, cs.execute, and cs.execute query we have written, and that is the result set again. Here that query, what you wanted to pass in this, now you need to write the query to call the stored procedure. And now I'll be showing you just now how we are writing the query to call the stored procedures and all other things. Guys, एक बात थोड़ा सा आप ध्यान से समझो, all of you. This is a live class you are attending, correct? So first of all, be attentive when you are attending these classes. And second thing is, any questions you are getting, any doubts you are getting, please keep on writing in the comment box, write in the chat box, so that if any one of you are getting any doubt, any query, immediately I can answer that, correct? So that ऐसा नहीं हो कि नहीं सर हम क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछ पा रहे हैं, ऐसी कोई बात है, ठीक है? So आपकी तरफ से एक ये आना चाहिए कि क्या आप इसमें अपने डाउट्स को क्लियर कर पा रहे हो या क्लियर नहीं कर पा रहे हो. आई अंडरस्टैंड कि बहुत सारे लोगों के लिए कुछ नहीं है चीजें, ठीक है, बट एनीवेज वो एक दो दिन में आपका सारा क्लियर हो जाएगा, ठीक है. एंड इसमें अभी आपको कोई क्वेश्चन आ रहा हो दिमाग में तो आप उस क्वेश्चंस को फर्स्ट रेज कर पा रहे हो नहीं कर पा रहे हो, दैट इज अगेन वन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट. सो यू शुड बी एबल टू आस्क द क्वेश्चंस इनटू दिस, करेक्ट. सो इफ एनीवन of you are getting any kind of questions, any doubts, please write here or please ask. Okay, so now you are clear with this, how things are working into this. We will do lots of again other things inside this to understand it here. Okay, I'll do one thing now. Shall we write one program on the basis of you will say that is the callable statement, and how this callable statement is working, what all the other things are being done internally. So I am writing one example on the behalf of these all things, correct here. So let me do here. Look at this. Have a look. Guys, Now here what I am trying to do here in this, I am creating one first project here, and that is the callable statement I am trying to create. So do one thing here. I am just taking here this particular code, and I am writing into the callable statement project new, and here I am writing the classes. So java dot or com dot JTC dot BC dot util I am writing, and JDBC util class something I am writing here. Have a look now inside this. Here now I am writing few more things. See here now. I hope you all are familiar with this util classes. What this util classes we are writing, JDBC util class, and what is exactly the purpose of this util class. Hope you all are okay. Now fine. Let me do one thing. Here we have closed all other things, and in this one itself, I am creating one more class, JTC dot, here let's say I am writing or I am writing callable statement, and here something called as the JTC something I have written into this. Fine here now. See, very first thing is, before doing anything, before writing anything here, we need to first understand how we can write any of the stored procedure we can write into the database. What is the process to write any stored procedure? So I'll write first one stored procedure for you. So I'll do one thing. Let me open one. Here I am opening this Oracle. I am opening into this. I am just opening the Oracle. Understand one thing. I am opening this Oracle. Well, let me write it, connect. Now here we have opened the Oracle. Fine it is now. We are connected with this. Now I'll do one thing here, or before doing it, let me open one notepad. See, I am writing this procedure in the notepad so that what we can do is we can copy paste the things easily in the Oracle editor, right? So what is that procedures what I am trying to write here? So see, the procedure create or replace. I am writing what is that? Create or replace. Create or replace, what we are writing, procedure. Understand one point here. Create or replace procedure. Procedure name. You can write here any procedure name of your choice, whatever you want. So let's say I am writing one test procedure. I am writing one test procedure here inside this, and in this particular test procedure I am taking here name as an varchar. Let's say I have written here only the simple thing which I am taking here, name varchar something I am writing here. Okay, this is the only one thing which I have written into this. Next, immediate after this, now I am writing as begin. I am writing, okay, one procedure name. See here, create or replace. If you want, see what exactly create or replace is doing. That replace is replacing the procedure which is existing in the database or in the Oracle with the same name, which is called as test, if it is already available. And in case if it is this procedure called as test procedure, if it is not available, stored procedure test, if it is not available, then it is not going to do anything. So again, what I am trying to do here, a very simple thing let's do here, okay. What is that simple thing I am doing? DBMS underscore output dot put underscore line here I am doing, guys. So let me write one thing. Testing stored procedure. I am writing here the testing the stored procedure into this case. Fine. So as begin testing the stored procedure. Next we are writing end, and immediately after writing this here the end, and I'm just giving this line here. Fine. Guys, if you are getting any doubt, anything meanwhile this, you can please ask. Correct? So I have written one basic stored procedure into this. So the what is that stored procedure I am writing? Create or replace procedure, procedure name, which is test. In that case, the name varchar we are writing as begin dbms underscore put output dot put underscore line. Say here now, put underscore line which is there here is a method which is responsible to display the output on the console. It is responsible to display the output on the console. So let's do one thing. I am taking it out, and as it is I am just printing here. You just have a look. Simply what I have done is I have copied and pasted on the corresponding console. Nothing else I have done. Guys, if you are getting any problem in this, if you are getting any doubt in this, you can please ask here. Fine? Everyone, anyone. Now here, now I have written something like this. What it is giving now? The output what you are getting is, the output what you have got here is that the test with the name of test stored procedures we created, and that's what we have here we have received it. We have received the stored procedure with the name of, what is that? Something called as the test. Okay, we have got the stored. Now, the task of this stored procedure, by seeing this particular code, can you tell me what is the task of this stored procedure? Guys, by seeing this basic code, can you please tell me what is the basic task of this stored procedure? Okay, I'll tell you what is the task of this stored procedure. The basic task of this stored procedure is that whenever you will call this stored procedure, it is going to print some informations, it is going to print some text on your console. Correct? It is going to print some text on your console. That's what we are going to do here. Okay, well, now we need to understand one thing here. So let's call it. We need to call this stored procedure. Until the time we don't call this stored procedure, we won't be able to process the things. So it is very first thing is that we are going to call this stored procedures, and once we call this stored procedure, then only anything is going to be done inside this case. So let's do here. So I'll write it here, the call, and which I'm writing test into this case. Let's say I just see, and one more thing, important thing you need to understand here. The stored procedure is having one parameter. We will call this one as an parameter. We will call this one as an parameter. This stored procedure, whatever we have written here, it is having one parameter. Correct? Understand one point here, guys. Have a look into this. See. Okay. So I'm just removing everything here, and hope if you are getting any doubts, anything, you can please write it here. So see, I am explaining something to you now. What is that? The point what I am explaining here is See here, guys, have a look. In these cases, first, stored procedure, correct? So stored procedures are having types of parameters. This stored procedures which is there is having the types of parameter into these cases, correct? In these types of parameter, the very first thing which I am writing in these stored procedures, the parameters what we have in the first one is in parameter. In parameter I am writing. The very first is in parameter. Second important thing is out parameter. And third important thing is inside this, that what we are having in out parameter. We have these following things. What are this? In parameter, out parameter, and in out parameter, correct? In parameter, out parameter, and in out parameter. Getting it? Is it visible to everyone? Now let's say whenever I am writing here, suppose, hope it is visible to all of you, create or replace procedure. I have written some name, create or replace procedure I am writing. Procedure name here I am writing. So suppose P1 I have written is the procedure name. Now suppose I am writing name as an varchar of suppose 10 I am writing. So create or replace procedure, procedure name I have written, fine it is. And after writing all these things here, I am writing inside this here as and next I'll write begins. Hope so you are able to see that here. So create or replace procedure name P1 as begin, and so this is what you are going to say is the body of the procedure, what you are going to write, or logic what you want to implement into this. And here you are going to write once end, and then you are going to give this slash which we will call forward slash. In these cases, each of the blocks, so see what happens here, end represents, end here represents the begin one. Here you understand one thing, end, begin, whatever you have written, this represents what? End, correct? And this slash represents the complete end or termination of this complete procedure itself, correct? Okay, so I will come to these all part further. We will be discussing all these things later on. But the important point at present is what? What is that important point, guys? The important point is, as I said, these all are the what? Parameters. These all are the parameters. So I said here the type of parameter, something which is available here is the type of parameter. So we have here specifically three types of parameter, in, out, and in-out parameter. We have these three parameters into this, correct? So, in case when you have not specified any parameter, if you have not given any type of parameter here, so by default it is in parameter what we have. By default what we are having, it is the in parameter, which means, what is the meaning of in parameter? See here, by default it is in parameter. If you have not specified any parameter over here, so this will be considered as an in parameter. This you should have very clearly in your mind. Is it okay? Now, guys, one more thing here now. First, so well, we got it. This is the in parameter. So now, what is the task of this in parameter? Well, I understand it. It is an in parameter. Since we have not specified any parameter, so this will be considered as an in parameter. So that's okay. So we will now talk about what is the task of this in parameter. Why we are writing this in parameter? So see, in parameter is responsible to carry a data from caller of the procedure to the stored procedure. Is responsible to carry the data from caller of the procedure to the stored procedure. That is the main functionality of stored procedure. Sorry, in parameter. Here in this case, what I am taking here, say here, if let's say I call this procedure P1, so let's say I am calling call P1 and into this some data we are giving here, suppose. So whatever value you are passing here, the value you are passing into these all things. Where it is going, this value? Here it is going. So it is an in parameter. With the help of in parameter, it is receiving. And what is this? Caller of a procedure. Caller of procedure. This is the caller of a procedure. Who is going to be caller of a procedure? Somewhere if you are calling, so you are going to be the caller of a procedure. You are only going to call that procedure specifically. If you are calling these procedures, if you are doing all these things, then that will be called and it will be processed. But remember one point, that since it is an in parameter, this is an in parameter, what you have given here, this is an in parameter into this. It is an what now? In parameter, whatever you are writing here, it is an in parameter in these cases. Getting my point? In parameter. So in will carry this data, whatever value you will provide here, from here to the procedure. This is what it is going to do in this case, guys. Is that clear to all of you or not? Is it fine now? Okay. Have a look on these things here. Just have a look. Okay. Now, if one more thing, what if I want to provide these values explicitly? I wanted to provide the stored procedures explicitly. I want to provide some values explicitly in these cases, correct? In these cases, we want to provide the value explicitly. Or sorry, we want to specify procedure parameter type specifically, explicitly you can say. So when I am saying explicitly, I am writing, so here you can write that is the in parameter. What you can write? In parameter. If you write here in or out or in out, anything you can write it here. Fine. But whenever you will write these all things, whenever you are writing all these things, so the process and other things will be working in this order itself, in this process itself, everything is going to work in this model. Correct it is? So if you have any question, if you have any doubt, you guys can please and ask. You can ask any questions, whatever you have. And if nothing is there, okay. So okay, now I'm out parameter. What will be the out parameter? If suppose here I am not writing these all things, so let's understand here. If in these cases I am writing here, let's say P1 is the procedure name, and suppose A, or it's 1 second, num1 int you are writing. This is 1 you are writing, fine. Well, again in this case, num2 I am writing, int I am writing here, correct? And one more thing I am writing, total I am writing, which is the, again, int I am writing here. Understand this point here. This procedure what I am talking about is all about that it will add two numbers, and after adding it, so suppose I am writing as begins I am writing, and after writing the begin here, total is equal to, suppose I am writing num1 I am writing plus num2 I am writing, and then you want to print it. So well, you can print this value. How you can print? dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, and inside this what you are writing, total you are writing. Understand one thing here. We are writing end, and then this is one procedure you have written. Well, I want to call this procedure, see, when I want to call these procedures, guys, so see, I'll write here the call, and in this case now I'm writing P1. So let's say, see here, now here when you have not specified any type of parameter, correct? So I am specifying here, that is out parameter. What is that now? It's an out parameter I have written. So remember one point, P1 whenever you are writing, so 10 you have passed 20, but in the case of 30 when you will pass, so it will not be it will give error bind variable. What it will give? Bind variable error it is. Error. What is this error is? Understand it. See, these two, 10 and 20 is going to be fine into this. There is no problem at all. 10 and 20, whatever we are writing is fine for you. No problem at all in this case, correct? The problem where exactly it stands, it comes here into this is that when you are writing here 30 into this, what you are writing? 30 you are writing here, correct? So in case when you are writing here 30, so with this few things are again coming. So see here, it cannot receive any in. It cannot receive it here. Understand it here. It cannot take that parameter, correct? It cannot receive any value again, exactly. It cannot receive any value in this case. So we cannot write here in inside this case. we are not allowed to write here the in inside this case, correct? But yes, of course, these two parameters can take, because this is by default, it is an in out. So out is what? Understand it here. What is here? Caller of procedure. What is this now? It's a caller of a procedure. It's a caller of a procedure what we are having. This particular one what we have is the caller of a procedure we are having, correct? So since we have this one as a caller of a procedure, so what we are going to do now in this case, see, out which is there here, out we are 10 is there, 20 is there. Okay, so this value is coming out like that, it is out, which means the out is going to give the value, or out parameter is used to pass the value from the procedure to the caller of a procedure. Is used to pass the parameter or the value from procedure to the stored procedure, to the caller of a procedure, correct? So it cannot receive any. So what you have to do here, okay, I will show you now later on what you have to do exactly, but I hope you are clear with these syntaxes. Are you okay with this or not? I'll write the examples and I'll show it to you, but once make me clear here in your chat box. Write your questions in the chat box here, whether you are okay with the things, whatever as such I am explaining. So if any doubt is there till this point, you can ask. Okay? Now, okay, you can ask the questions if you have any doubt here. Suppose, sometimes here, so thing is, how do we need to call this? So, we need to register the out parameter. Register out parameter. We need to register this out parameter, that we will talk about that whenever I am writing the JDBC program. Definitely you can consider as a method of the PLSQL, that is the procedure is, and yes, there are the ways, but directly it is not given any officially like no, this is the way how you are going to create, because that is a very now you can say tedious process to create with the help of Java program, correct? So that is always recommendable to run the database query or the PLSQL query separately, and later on you try to do it as the one what we are trying to call it, or we are processing it and all other things. And even it is not recommendable, Sanskar, in the document itself I have given few examples where you are doing the things, but somehow that is not recommendable. It is a lot of time taking process, and it is not again a recommendable one, because creating a database code you are writing in this, so that is going to be a very big one, and that is of no use at all. So that's why we are not recommending to do that. Okay, anything else, anyone? Any questions for anyone? Okay guys, out para. Okay, now one more thing, in out parameter one more is there. So let's say sometimes we write here, notice it, A is equal to A plus B. Are you getting my point? I am writing A is equal to A plus B, correct? So see, here you will understand it very clearly. I am writing A is equal to A plus B, correct? It is A. What it is doing? Out. What? from this equation, whatever you have written, by adding these two, it is taking value out. Correct? But the same variable A is going into this. What you are writing now? In I am writing. Correct? So this kind of things, like here you are writing num1 in and out, both you are declaring. In and out of, what is that now? Suppose number or int, anything you can write. So you are declaring. I will do it all this. So I hope you understand in out parameter also. So in out parameter was, at one point of time it is receiving some input from the user, as well as it is sharing some output with the user into these cases. Is it okay? Guys, have a look now into this. So see here, I have called the procedure into this. If you will look at this, I am calling this procedure, and whenever I am trying to call this procedure, it is not giving anything here. So what do I have to do now? Output 1 second. See, you have written set server output on, correct? And then you write it here. Now you have created this procedure, and after creating this procedure now, I am doing one thing, call of test into this. Hello, I'm just writing it here, a simple one. Testing stored procedure. Are you able to call this stored procedure? Yes, you are able to call this stored procedure, and this is what the main task of this stored procedure is, correct? Now what I'm trying to do here from this, and we are trying to write one example into this. Have a look now into this. Util dot get Oracle connection I am writing. What it is returning? Con it is returning. Fine. And connection of con is equal to null. Here I am writing callable statement CS is equal to, I am writing here null. Okay, well, I am writing these two statements only. And somehow after writing all this, I am doing one more thing, con dot Well, I'm writing here so instead of writing create statement, I'm writing prepare call. What we need to call here, query to call stored procedure, and that is returning here con.prepare call. So this is returning here the callable statement into this case. Callable statement you are getting into this CS callable statement. Well, here now I'm writing, so con.prepare call, we will write the query to call this stored procedure, and next one again into this CS dot execute query, suppose you are writing, anything you have written, execute update, let's say, and you are writing, and then you are writing the further code to process it. Fine. Okay, well, I'm not again going into this at present. Now I wanted to call this procedure. Which procedure I want to call now? I'm trying to call the procedure just now whatever you have created here into this, correct? So I am writing here the prepare call, and what was the procedure which you have written now? Test you have written, correct? So well, let me do here, I am writing here test, and into this now let's say I am writing very simple one, hello I have written, and cs.execute this one again I am trying to do here, or trying to write it here. This is a basic one. If I which is there is less than, greater than, equal to, actually this will not make any thing which is going to affect. Suppose some star I am writing, else again simple one I am writing here, I am not writing any big things. I'll write next here the finally JDBC util dot cleanup connection, and here callable statement. This is what I have written here, right? Now have a look, if any error, anything is there into this, we will call it here. I'm calling it here. Have a look here. See here. There's no problem at all with this. I hope so. Everyone is fine with this. Right click on this, build path. And here you are getting one more thing, JDBC14.jar, and now I'm running it again. Let me run it. See here, have a look. What we are getting now? Invalid something called as the SQL statement we are getting here. Okay. That is something we called it here. It is an Oracle statement. into these cases, and let me run once again. See, now what we next need to do into this, that we need to call this stored procedure again in the, maybe here we are doing something mistake. Let me try with this. See, there is no problem in this. Maybe something, the procedure what we have written or we are trying to call, in that some issue is there. Again, what you can do is test procedure, okay, fine. See, the procedure name is what we have written is the test. Test in this also we are writing it hello. Okay, we'll see it. What is the problem into this? Okay. So guys, in this, till this point, any questions you have, you can ask it. If you are getting, so see, whenever you will call this procedure, what will happen? Actually, in this particular procedure, we have not given as such any specific task for this procedure, right? So in your document, I have given the like how this is going to insert into. So I'll be writing again tomorrow on this, how we are writing the other procedures and all things. So here you would have got one basic idea about the procedures, how we are writing the procedure, how we are going to process these procedures. In these all things, if anyone is getting any questions, any doubts, you can please ask. I'll see here what it is giving issue, and that is not the issue first here. Maybe I'm missing something here to call the stored procedure exactly with this prepared statement. Yeah, we got it here. Have a look. You need to write here the call, because I was writing just the test hello itself, I was writing into this. So you need to write here the call, right? The complete query you need to write what we were writing in these cases. The same thing you need to write it here. So now you see this is being processed into this, correct? It is. But at present, I hope it is clear now. Query is successful and something like that, you are getting it into this, correct here? So any doubt into this, any question guys, you can please ask. Yeah, so any questions from today's class? Again, we will continue the same class tomorrow also. Same thing we are going to go, continue tomorrow also. So if any doubt you are getting, any questions you are getting, you can please ask. So I hope you are clear with the basic stored procedure and what is the task of callable statement and all, correct? And most of the callable statement also supports placeholder mechanism, correct? And it also stores the pre-compiled query like the way we have in the case of prepared statement. So I'll give again 10 minutes or 15 minutes tomorrow also we will discuss about this strut procedure. Meanwhile, in your documents I have given the examples, kindly go through that examples, please do that examples. If further any questions you are getting, you can ask. Is it okay? Any questions, any doubts in this class, you can write in the chat box. Anyone guys, anything, any problem, anything is there, you can write in the chat box if anyone is getting anything. Thank you, good night.